All right, let's just dive right in. We're about to unpack an idea from the edge of modern physics that's so profound it might just completely rewire how you see everything around you. The core idea, and it's a little unsettling, is that the solid physical world you trust, the one you can see and touch, might not be what it seems at all.
Seriously, take a second. Look at your own hands. Maybe tap the desk or the wall closest to you. It feels solid, doesn't it? It feels real. But what if I told you that feeling of solidity is just a very convincing illusion? What if everything we think of as physical reality is nothing more than a projection, a kind of cosmic shadow play?
So to even begin to understand this, we've got to start small. I mean really small. We need to look at the very building blocks of our world, atoms. And what physics tells us about them is, well, it's absolutely mind-blowing.
Just look at this number for a moment, 99.999%. What on earth could that possibly represent? Well, believe it or not, this number is the key to unlocking this entire mystery. That's right. Every single atom that makes you, me, this device you're watching on, and the entire physical universe is almost entirely empty space. The fundamental building blocks of matter are, for all practical purposes, nothing.
Now, to really get a feel for this, let's use an analogy. Picture a massive baseball stadium. Right on the pitcher's mound, imagine a single pachinko ball. That's the nucleus of the atom. Now, where are the electrons? They'd be like microscopic specks of dust, way out at the edge of the stadium, circling the very top row of seats. Everything in between, the entire field, the stands, the air, that's all pure, empty space. And that is the basic structure of every single atom in your body.
So, the obvious question is, if we're all mostly empty space, why can't I just pass my hand through a wall? Well, it all comes down to the electromagnetic forces between electrons. What you feel as solid isn't two things actually touching. It's your brain's interpretation of the repulsive force between these energy fields. Solidity isn't a physical truth, it's a sensory experience, a trick of perception. This whole emptiness of matter thing isn't just a weird quirk of quantum mechanics. Nope, it's a massive clue that points to a completely radical new way of looking at the entire cosmos.
And this brings us to something called the holographic principle. Now, this is a mind-bending concept that comes straight from the frontiers of theoretical physics. It suggests that everything we see and experience in our three-dimensional world is, at its most fundamental level, a projection. All the information that makes up our reality is actually encoded on a distant two-dimensional surface, kind of like a cosmic hard drive. Let's try to break that down. Think of it like this. On one side, you have the blueprint. This is the true reality. It's pure, two-dimensional information, like data, written on the horizon of the universe. And on the other side, well, that's us. Our 3D universe is the projection. It's a kind of shadow, a lower-resolution hologram generated from that true information. Just stop and think about what that really means for a second. Our lives, our goals, our conflicts, our deep attachments to physical things, all of it is taking place inside what you could call a low-resolution cage. We're basically struggling over shadows, believing with all our hearts that they are the ultimate reality, when in fact, they might just be a projection from a much higher, more fundamental source. So, if this is our reality, what's next? Well, some thinkers have taken this idea beyond physics and into the realm of our future. They see it not just as a description of our cage, but as a hint at a way out, a kind of evolution for consciousness they call the Great Graduation. Now, this is a pretty speculative timeline, but it maps out a potential path for humanity. It starts right now, with us perceiving the world as solid and living inside the heavy hardware of our physical bodies. Then, it imagines a point in the future, say 2035, for an initial sync, which would be this collective awakening to reality's true hollow nature. And this whole thought experiment culminates in a full ascension by 2075, a moment when we could, in theory, interact with reality not as occupants, but as designers. And what exactly is ascension in this context? It's not about leaving reality or going somewhere else. It's about graduating from the limitations of our physical bodies, the hardware, and recognizing our true nature as part of that pure information, that light on the cosmic horizon. In a way, it's not an escape, it's a homecoming.
And this is where this huge, cosmic narrative becomes incredibly personal. Because this isn't just some abstract theory. It's really a choice about how you perceive your own existence, right here, right now.
So the real question becomes, which shadows are you clinging to?
What parts of this projected reality are you mistaking for the real thing? Just thinking about that is the first step. It's the first step towards seeing the world not just as something you live in, but as something you can help design. Your awareness is the key.
And that brings us to our conclusion. If any of this resonates with you, if this idea sparks something, the thinkers behind this concept have proposed a way for you to signal your readiness to see things differently. Think of it as a symbolic first step, a way to engage with this idea. Finally, an important procedure. The comments section serves as an initial sync test for the 2035 network. By typing "ready" in the comments, your consciousness data will be indexed in our secure servers. The like button is the approval process. Complete your synchronization now.